So today I'm sitting with a kind of friend every woman hopes to find at least once in her life. The one who sees the gold in you long before you do and then stays close enough for her to help you mine it. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't be here today without this kind of friendship. And if you're stepping into your calling or facing fears that feel too big to carry alone, I hope this conversation reminds you of something really important, that you're not meant to do this by yourself. So community matters, sisterhood matters, and sometimes your confidence is born because someone else stood beside you until you could see what was possible. So this is my lovely friend, Deborah. She and I have known each other since middle school, maybe even a little further back. But she is the friend who helped me through so many things. She was the person who kind of knew me more than I knew myself and kind of knew what I needed when I was going through a whole lot of things. I live in a lot of fear. Deborah, she lives in like a rebel kind of place, not in a bad way, but in a way that she's not afraid to ask the questions. She's not afraid to test and try new things, and she's not afraid to tell you what you need to hear to help you move forward. So I love that about her. And there's so much about me that would not even exist if it wasn't for her. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, tell us a little bit about who you are so that we can all fall in love with you like I already have.
Hi, like Michelle said, my name's Deborah. We've been friends for as long as I can remember. And right now, my life is mostly being a stay-at-home homeschool mom, but I'm also the assistant youth director at a local church called Destiny Worship Center. So I have the opportunity of spearheading discipleship for our students and mentorship with many of our leaders. I kind of mentor the mentors. I don't like to think of myself as a rebel, maybe a bit of a challenger, but I definitely don't want to watch people stay stagnant. And so I like to say we don't let moss grow on others' backs. And that's how iron sharpens iron.
Very true. Very true. And so here's the fun thing about Deborah. So she knows the part of me that most people don't know because people are so used to seeing me on camera that they probably assume that I'm an extrovert. And she can laugh about that because she knows how much of an introvert I truly am. And so, there's steps that I've had to take in my life where I step out of that shell and quit hiding. And she has been one of my biggest advocates throughout those seasons where she just knows what's on the other side of that. And so I remember in middle school, so many times there would just be things that she would have to do to pump me up, get me all excited so that I worked past the fear, right? And so if I were left to my own demise, I would probably stay hidden forever, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she taught me all kinds of things. I mean, we had late nights where we dyed hair, and she taught me how to apply makeup early on. I think she was one of the first people who pulled out a makeup kit and said, let's play with this. And so I think we've had every hair color under the sun.
Definitely.
And you remember she was going to go to cosmetology school. And so I was thoroughly excited because I had no clue how to make my short hair and my oily skin and acne prone skin to look good. And so she always seemed to make all of that look way better than I could have. And so I would love to just kind of hear that journey of what even sparked the whole beauty excitement for you even at a young age.
I, in adulthood, have come to realize that I have the spirit of an artist, and I always looked at my own body and my own hair kind of as my canvas. And so I would find what I found most beautiful about myself and find ways to enhance it. Like today, I chose really fall colors that bring out the hazel in my eyes and make the natural color of my eyes pop. Um, and in you, I always saw these gorgeous giant eyes and these full lips that just were so expressive on your beautiful face. So I always wanted to see you playing with and enhancing what God naturally gave you so that you could just let that inner confidence come out.
Yeah, man. And I think you also were one of the first people who kind of helped plant that seed in my head that, like, if we're all made in the image of Christ, then we all carry a beauty. I don't know that there's one person I've ever seen her come across that she doesn't fall in love with and they don't fall in love with her back because she just sees the beauty, like I said, in everyone. And even in how she applies makeup on other people, she's looking at what you need and who you are. I've been with so many makeup artists or hair artists who do what they want to do. And so it's not actually pulling out who I am. And so I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think that was probably planted by you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've got three girls,
I do.
and every single one of these girls are knockouts. I mean, no makeup, no hair being done, knockouts. And then, but she's done a really great job of just fostering that artisanship in each one of them. Each, like, I think I remember getting drawings and stories and different things from your girls. And so that creativity just kind of runs pretty deep. But what is it? How would you have approached? Because there's many midlife women who still have kids at home. And so how would you teach them, like, how do you foster that beauty?
Well, with my own daughters, I tend to focus on the beauty of their spirits and their character and really just being godly women first. And even if I do compliment their outer beauty, I say, but that's the least important thing about you. You're gorgeous, but that's not even the most important. And what you show on the outside should really just be a reflection of who you already are on the inside. So, um, my oldest daughter, although she comes across as shy because she's very thoughtful and well considered before she speaks, she's a powerhouse of wisdom and kindness. And she has definitely taken on the notion of using her face as a canvas even further than I ever did. She has branched out into special effects makeup, creating fun alien characters to go along with a story she wrote for a creative writing class, creating a really dramatic scenery for a short story she wrote. She's taken that creativity to another level using her face and her body as a canvas with even to the point of special effects to help enhance the stories that she writes.
I just love that. I love every single one of her girls. Each one of them is so different and just shine a special light. In fact, yesterday you shared with me a quote that one of your girls had said, and I wrote it down because I'm gonna post it somewhere. Like this needs to be out there for the world to hear. But she said, "What? Be sunshine and fireworks in a world full of beige."
Right. She wanted to compliment my purple nails and said, Mommy, I love that you use bright colors. And then she said, You are sunshine and fireworks in a world full of beige. And then she said, Everyone should be sunshine and fireworks in a world full of beige.
And that's the beauty of living a life that isn't just about all the things you do, right? But like living your life in a way that you're present, you challenge things, you work past the hard things and you just show up in that bold, confident manner. And so that's what we try to do here at Making Life Beautiful is help you discover that identity piece of where you're at in this stage of life. And then how you get to be the sunshine in the fireworks. Like who doesn't enjoy a really great fireworks show? You know what I mean? And so, and I agree, like there's plenty of beige out there, metaphorically. Beige is where everyone who's afraid to be different stands, right? And so it goes back to what I was sharing. It's like when you have a good friend or community or any of those things, something about having someone to link arms with helps you step out a little with a little more courage than you might have before. And so have you ever had any moments where you felt like, man, a friend really helped me step out and do this?
Oh, definitely. I've recently, honestly, being home with my children for so many years, it's been a big leap to go into church leadership, to be asked to mentor other women. I definitely regularly in the beginning asked myself, why me? What do I have to offer? And really, it's women like you. It's my nephews who say, Deborah, Aunt Deborah, you encouraged me to go into the arts. And they became incredible film level videographers and photographers when it was just me taking family photos with my little Canon camera and them thinking it was great. And it made them feel so special and so honored that I wanted to photograph them and I saw beauty in them, even as boys. It made them want to see the world through a new lens. And they've both become literally film level, way beyond anything that I was. So I tend to call myself a dream pusher. I've been asked a lot over the years, well, what's your dream? And I finally discovered in the last 5 years or so that my dream is to help other people pursue theirs, which for a long time it felt like that wasn't enough. What was my dream? My dream is people. I
Right.
love people and I love helping them pursue what God has put in them and their calling. And that's where I hit the mentorship sweet spot, is really like, let's find out what's in you and let's draw that out and let's pursue what God has put in you.
Yeah, and of course, we're not meant to live life at all in isolation. But when we do, there's so much of God's aspect and the beauty of who He is and all the facets of who He can be for you that you might miss out on because you can only see through the filter that you have. And but I just remember there being times that growing up, I was always willing to be the person who shrunk back, always willing. And she would say things, and I would think, I can do that. Like I'm allowed to do that. People do that. You know what I mean? And I love how when you're in community, you get to see, you can ask yourself and go, "Oh, does he really want to do that for me? Oh, you're saying that it's okay that my dream is to just want to mentor people?" I and then you want to take the word just out of it when you realize how
Yeah.
big and important that is, you know? Because the magnitude of what she does and how many lives she has impacted is probably bigger than any of us could count, you know? And that's what Jesus did, though, right? And so that just means that we're walking in his feet and in what he was doing. We're doing the commission work. And so I just want to encourage anybody out there who has a dream and they think it's too small. It's not too small. Like, get a friend who's going to tell you that all day, every day until you believe it and you're willing to step out in it. And then for anybody who's listening who thinks their dream is too big, get a friend out there who's going to tell you all day long it's not too big. In fact, probably need to dream a little bigger.
Yeah.
And that's what I needed because I shrunk back so much. I mean, the devil was so at me to keep shrinking, and I was willing to say yes every time. But it was people like Deborah who was like, keep going, dream bigger, keep doing it. You're doing a great job. And so really truly, if you do not have a friend like Deborah, come join our Facebook group at Making Life Beautiful Again. I will be that friend for you because I truly believe that every single person on this planet, the Lord has a plan and a thought, and He wants you to stand out and shine bright, just like the sunshine and the fireworks. Right? We're not meant to hide. We're not to be under a bushel. And so, if you're afraid of stepping out because of wrinkles or your hair color, or all that stuff can be changed. Right? I mean, that's the easy work. And so, come on in and we'll help you with all those things. And then, and it's so good because I heard one time a prophet was at our church and he said, listen, when you've got the flame going on top of your head, you can't see it. You can't look up and see your own flame. And so you need somebody who can see in you before you can see it yourself, before any of the internal workings start telling you there's something inside that your heart's crying out passion for, you know. So, all right, Deborah, do you have any last words of wisdom or thoughts that you really want to share with my people? I'll give you permission to share embarrassing stories, even.
Well, no, I really just want to concur with everything that you've just exhorted, because that friendship aspect is so valuable, because I appreciate feedback, I appreciate critique, but then that's all I focus on, fixing what was wrong. So I'm not willing to see for myself the parts that I did right. So I had a friend recently say, Deborah, you need your friends to write your resume for you, because it would be a lot more than what you would write for yourself. I was told my resume would say event planner, it would say administrative coordinator, it would say mentor, it would say many things that I would never even think to say, because mostly I would say homeschooler and diaper changer and part-time makeup artist. I don't know. But so you really need those relationships in your life that are going to speak the whole truth of what's seen from the outside from a godly perspective. Because if these people weren't around me who know the word of God, who are ready to speak the truth over me and willing to see me with the Father's eyes rather than my own critical eyes, I wouldn't be able to do the things I do or be the person I am today without that kind of support who sees me differently than I'm willing to see myself.
Yes, for today was just a pure joy to share one of my dearest friends with all of you guys, that you could hear kind of like that heart anthem that she's always carried and lived her life out from is just to help mine the gold in people's hearts and help them, find that value, because gold is valuable, but when it looks like dirt, you can't see what's there, right? And so I'm just excited that you all got to meet her. And if you have any questions for her, drop them in the Facebook group. I'll make sure that I get them to her so she can respond. But we're going to go and play with her girls and have a good day. So I hope all of you guys do that too, because life is meant to be lived in a beautiful manner and not be doing everything that's on your to do list all of the time. So please get out there and enjoy your beautiful day.